Yeah, so I feel like so we were just talking about, software engineers and just people in general, like they go into job interviews and they never negotiate. But like they should, because like the company, they give you the offer because they want you, and you have power there. So I think, bumping it up a little to, get some more benefits, you should always do that. Because a lot of people, they're just too passive. They never show what they want, and you never get anything without showing what you want. So you got to be willing to, show people that um then you have that confidence in yourself, that arrogance. Yeah, like Andrew
Yeah,
said,
and
it's better being a baller than whatever he's.
yeah,
What's the
it's like
phrase?
I'd rather look at myself every day and be like, wow, this kid's a baller, than look at myself
Yeah,
and be like, dang, I hate who I am. Like like I always used to say this, like, if you can't wake up every day and look at yourself and be like, wow, I freaking love being me, then I wouldn't say that you truly love who you are. And you need to work on like doing something to fix that. But I think it's okay to be a little bit cocky, and we've gotten into this nature nowadays where we want everybody to be ultra humble, and which is ironic because in our quest to be ultra humble, we actually get to be arrogant about how humble we are, which makes no sense. But it's like I think we need to be able to stand up and talk about the things that we've done, the things that we're proud of, without feeling like we're intruding on other people, or putting other people down. And I do think there's a better way to go. There's like a good way to go about that, without putting people down. But I think like the basic idea here in this episode is, it's okay to talk a little about what you want to do. If you want to accomplish something huge, talk about it. And I think there are a lot of benefits. So like, I always say this: you never know the effect you're going to have on someone else. And it's so true. I've seen this so many times where like I messaged somebody, we had a 10-minute conversation, and then suddenly they started a podcast, and it like went on and changed like hundreds of people's lives. And like, you
yes,
never, yeah,
presence.
yeah,
Presence is a
exactly.
good example.
Yeah. I use her example all the time, but like,
She's
you
probably
never
surpassed us by now in terms of like podcast.
probably.
Like yeah,
I mean,
probably.
she for her the podcast is like the big thing. For us, it's not. So, but I mean, I
Yeah.
hope so. She's done really good things with
Yeah, I
it.
know. She's like just super active with the community too. She's like really proactive. I think,
Yeah.
see, like she's such a good example. Like you got to be proactive about what you want. And I think it channels into other people too. So
Exactly. Yeah, and it's so this is why I say, I would rather more people talk about what they want to do, even if they're not taking action. We always say like the amount that you talk should always match your work ethic. Like your ambition should match how much you're working. But I would rather that not be true and people would be talking a little bit more to see other people kind of get inspired by more people. Imagine being surrounded by people who are like, oh, I'm gonna be a billionaire. Then like you're gonna have a lot of other people who get inspired, who want to strive for that too, rather than a bunch of people who are like, oh, life sucks after high school, because then how are you gonna feel? You know?
yeah, it's like imagine we had like a million Elon Musks. That'd be pretty
Yeah,
insane.
exactly,
A lot of
exactly. And
people like with the sort of ambition that he has, it'd be pretty insane. Like the
yeah, and
amount of
so
innovation that we'd have by now.
Yeah, and that's why I think people need to talk more. Stop making it like an arrogance thing. If you want something, it's okay to say that you want it. It's okay to go out and try to get it. And I think we shouldn't, put people down for them trying for things, or being like, "Oh, I'm better than you because I'm humble and I don't talk about what I do." Well, that that doesn't help you, because like Kevin, give your example too with your internship on like, you put yourself out there and talked a little bit, and like what happened for you.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. I think, yeah, it really is. I think if you're gonna talk, you better make sure you have the skills to back it up. And so I guess in my case, right, like I was interning at a company, but at the same time, I was also doing a lot of side projects because I realized the importance of doing stuff on the side to always be constantly developing your own skills. And so on the side, I was just posting a lot of projects on like, Reddit, on Hacker News, especially Hacker News. Like Hacker News is where like hit big, but I posted on all these platforms, to put myself out there. I think a lot of people, they don't do that because they have this fear of posting. I remember my first post. Honestly, like my first post, I had that fear, right? Like posting where like I don't think anyone's gonna see this, no one's gonna like it, Um, but like turns out a lot of people did. It was actually insane. Like it blew up on Reddit and Hacker News. So like unexpected things always happen, and I think you just gotta have the belief in yourself that like if you like it, like you should have the confidence that other people like it too. And so, it's, just like, yeah, so just getting over that fear and just doing what you're doing, I think always helps.
Yeah, and like give the story of like the internship thing too with like Tesla.
Oh yeah, it's pretty insane. So like I didn't even reach out to them because they literally saw the stuff I was posting online. Honestly, like I'm not humble. Fuck that. There's no point. I don't. You got to have a bit of arrogance on yourself, I think. Every successful people has that sort of arrogance too, where they know they're good at something. And so yeah, I was posting my stuff out there, and it was just another normal day. And Tesla staff engineer contacted me, and he was like, "Hey, I like your stuff. We'd love to have you at Tesla." And so that's where all began. I did a project for them, and they liked it, and I got into the team. So I think that would never have happened if I was not proactively putting out these posts. Because I know like a lot of people that they just make projects and they post it up and that's it. They don't do anything. I don't know why. Maybe they have a fear of no one's going to use this. No one's going to like it. But you should always, if you're going to make something, you better just put it out there. Because chances are there's going to be a few people that like it, or
Mhm.
even more. So, yeah, you got to
Yeah,
put
it's
yourself
like
out there.
yeah, put things out there and talk about it, like tell your friends, like if it's something that can be used by other people, and like go into an interview. Interviews are a great example of when you shouldn't be cocky. I mean, of when you should be a little bit cocky. It's like, talk about the things that you've done in your past. I've done quite a lot in my past, and I don't go up and like throw it in everyone's face, but like I'm not afraid to talk about it,
Exactly.
especially if I need to, show that I'm,
And chances
valuable.
are in an interview, they're going to ask you a lot of questions about your background. And, most of the times for most candidates, I guarantee you they're expecting, some sort of bland response. Honestly, they're probably just looking for something like, oh, like, what do you like doing in your free time? Like, oh, I watch, I don't know, I hike or something, like all these boring responses. But if you have like these cool projects on the side, like if you tell them that, they're going to be super impressed. And
Mhm.
so,
Yeah,
mhm.
yeah, and it's even if you have like a personal website, I have there's this guy who he saw my personal website one time and he messaged me and he's like, don't you think you sound a little bit arrogant on this website? And I was like, I'm trying to show off like who I am, the things I've done. I don't know how I would go about that without being a little bit arrogant about it. Like I want to show off the things that I've done. And so like what would you have me do? Remove half the stuff that I've done just to make you feel better? Like your
Yeah,
job
never
shouldn't
capitulate to others.
yeah, it's like your job shouldn't be to go around and make everyone else feel better. If they don't have the confidence to be around somebody who has confidence in themselves, then like probably not the kind of person that you want to be around. I always say
See, I think
if
that's the sort of attitude that's caused by the sort of office climate right now. Because I think the politics in like in office setting, like you know, it like fosters that sort of mindset where like you're just like I should be more humble. I should suck up to my boss, and hopefully I'll get a raise. But
Mhm.
yeah, continue what you were saying.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean it's just it makes no sense, and I'm kind of blanking on where I was going. But yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, my bad. I
Dang
should
it.
not have interrupted your
No,
train
no,
of
you're
thought.
good. You're good. Um, yeah, I don't remember where I was going with it, but yeah, it's like put yourself out there. You really have no clue. Oh, okay, so I think I remember now. So the people who are going to look at you and like label you as arrogant and all of these words or whatever, or like dislike you because you're confident and you're like doing well, those are the people who you probably don't want to be around. So I think it's always in your best interest to just be
Exactly.
you, like talk about the things that you're doing, be proud of who you are. There's not anything wrong with that. And I think people who say that there are things wrong with that, probably people who aren't confident in themselves, and you're just highlighting the things that they haven't done. So they're trying to make themselves feel better by tearing your
It's like
building down.
a it's like so here's an analogy. It's like a real life email filter, right? Like I feel like because a lot of authors they have not a lot of authors, but a lot of successful people they have their email, right? And they're like they have filters where like only contact if you are interested like in a business deal or something, right? Like that's the same sort of thing that like you're doing when you're being confident. Like when you say what you want, you're filtering out the people that you probably don't want to be around. That
Exactly.
makes
And
sense.
so like I think people need to stop thinking of things as like, oh, losing friends or disappointing friends. It's sometimes people just aren't a good fit with you.
Mhm.
And if they're holding you back and like trying to keep you from being proud of who you are, like that's definitely an issue that needs to be resolved. And if it means removing them, then that's what you should do. And
Mhm.
you good?
No, no, no. I was just agreeing with what you're saying.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but like, and I think another thing is one of the big reasons that Kevin and I are ambitious, I think, is because we used to listen to like those motivational videos in the morning. And after a while, you kind of start to brainwash yourself of, I want to go and do these things. And I think talking about what you want to do is similar because what you focus on, you find. And if you're focusing all the time on, here are my goals, here's what I want to achieve, you're going to spend a lot of time trying to think about, okay, how do I get to those? How do I accomplish that? And I
Yeah.
think focusing more and more on your goals is nothing but helpful because then you can actually, come up with new ways to go about it. And you're focusing on, working on that and making yourself better to the point that you can get to those big goals that you have.
Yeah. See, I think one of the big reasons why like I'm actually I've learned so fast, uh, iOS programming and just software development in general is just like I have this obsession towards it where like I'm coding at night and then like I fall asleep and I'm thinking of that like
Mhm.
I'm actively thinking in my mind like how do I because like I remember last night I was falling asleep I'm just like man I can't solve this fucking like because I'm trying to hook up the Spotify API to my app right now and so I'm like thinking like what the best architecture for that is in React Native and I like fell asleep on that and I have a pretty good idea of like what I actually wanted to look like today so I think when you sleep on something, when you're obsessed with something, like it's always going to stick in your mind. You're always going to come up with better ways to do it, and solve your problems. Basically,
Yeah, and it's just like the
the
idea that
unconscious mind is so powerful.
yeah, yeah, and it's the same as like you don't know the effect that you're gonna have on others, and you don't know the effect that your words are gonna have on you, and so like I think focusing and talking about I'm going to achieve this, it will also provide you with a bunch of new people that'll help keep you accountable because you're like I told someone I was gonna do this, I gotta make sure I do it, and they might help push you, and also how are you ever gonna find people that are like you if you're not even being yourself or talking about the things that you want to do? I would never find another ambitious person on this planet if I would never talk about what I wanted to do. The amount of people that I've met on LinkedIn, the amount of connections that I've made, the amount of opportunities I've gotten from talking is pretty insane. So like, I think it's worth the risk of maybe losing one or two friends because they aren't confident in themselves. So probably aren't even very good friends anyway. I
Yeah,
think that
100%.
risk is worth it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people they just don't want to change, and you probably don't want them as friends. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Exactly.
it's just
So
like the movies where you have that alpha guy, just like he has these friends that don't want to change, and eventually he has to leave them. So
mhm. Yeah, yeah. And
how
it's
it
like
is in life.
Exactly. It's like constantly change, constantly improve. And don't be afraid to talk about
Yeah,
it.
dude, never be tied down by people that you are close to, honestly. You should
Yeah.
always put yourself first. So, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And again, it's like big takeaway from this, and probably the last thing. Don't be afraid to talk about the things that you want to do. It's fine if people label you as arrogant. They're probably not people you want to be around anyway. Strive for your goals and talk about them. Make sure you're focusing on them because there are a lot of benefits that come from talking about what you want to achieve. So don't be one of those people that's like I'm ultra humble because
Mhm.
those people probably don't. I don't think I've ever seen anyone who's like, oh, I'm ultra humble. I don't think I've ever seen anyone like that go very far.
Like that ultra, like it actually reminds me of like those characters you see in the movies where like they're super like overpowered, but at the same time they're also like super reserved too. Like they're
Hmm.
super low key about it, and
Yeah.
it sounds good in theory, but in the real world, like it doesn't work like that. You got to put yourself out there unless you're like Elon Musk or something, like you can be humble because everyone knows you. But like when you're small time, you better like be putting yourself out there, being a little bit arrogant so people know who you are. And then I guess as you get bigger, I think being humble is actually a good thing because you don't want to. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I
I
think.
mean, I think there's a mixture. I don't think you want to throw it into people's
Mhm.
faces. I think the most important thing is that that you are confident in your future and like confident in what you want to do. And I think there are a lot of benefits from talking. You don't necessarily have to. It's not like if you don't do that, you won't be successful. I think you can be successful either way. But I think you'll derive a lot of benefit from talking about what you want to do.
Yeah. See, I think
And
one of the biggest factors towards being successful is actually connections. It's the people you know. It's how well you can
mhm,
talk. Honestly, that's what I've realized. Is like you can be super good at coding. You can be super good at what you do, but if you can't talk, if you can't talk to others, you can't sell something. You're never going to be successful. So
exactly. Yeah, and like it's I've purposely made sure to get a big network of programmers so that like whenever I have questions about something or I'm struggling with something, I can just go and message somebody who I've known for a while,
exactly,
and they're happy to get on a call and talk. And so like those connections are super important, and you'll never get them without being able to go out and talk a little bit.
exactly. Yeah, like we never got here today by not talking to people. So
hmm Yeah, yeah. It's like some of the biggest opportunities I've ever gotten were from like, me being a little bit, gosh, me being a little
damn,
bit like,
you got Corona, man. I'm telling you,
no, no, I just have like,
those are the symptoms, man. I don't know what to say.
well, the biggest symptom is having no symptoms. So by
Okay, then.
definition, that's
That's
true.
a wrap, I guess. That's a wrap for this episode. Yeah,
Yeah,
so hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Yeah, so we did not post last week. Super busy, so
yeah, it's
forgive us
Kevin's
for
fault.
that. What do you mean? You freaking rejected both invitations, so
Yeah, whoops.
it's all Andrew's
We
fault.
could have
But
moved them.
probably. But also
I
I
had
was also pretty
meetings.
busy, so yeah. Yeah, so you guys enjoyed that, make sure to give us a review and
Are you
subscribe to the
friends?
podcast. Yeah, also do that. And yeah, check us out on YouTube. We post these videos on YouTube as well. So if you like seeing visuals, you can take a look there. One Asian, one white. What does that
You
mean?
can
Like,
see my
what is yellow plus white?
um yellowish white. I don't know.
Yellowish white. Okay, yeah. So tan. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can see my extraordinarily long hair right now until I get it cut today.
Yes, you can also take a look at that. So yeah, and yeah, that's a wrap. So see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.